Good evening, lovely people of God, and you are welcome once again to the studios of Shine TV inside Tama Community One. My name is Naha Shokowaji, and this is the Dr. Love Show, the only place where all your issues concerning love are being dissolved. Today, we have an interesting but trivial topic, and Pastor Patrick is in the house to do justice to it. But you have to remember that I am proudly sponsored by Vince Makeover, Fredco Constructions Limited, and Apostle Felix Henry Joe of the Abundance Grace Apostolic Church. Doctor, you are warmly welcome.
Thank you very much, Nasha.
You look great.
Thank you. You're looking splendid as well, too.
Give glory to the Almighty. As usual, we are back to do the do. And today is a simple question, but a very tough one. Let's go to the question. So today's question: what causes the rise of teenage pregnancy in the community? Simple like that, but a munsem no.
And this is an ageless question because we've had this social menace cracking the fabric of our society for so many years. And I think it's our time we really paid attention and then discuss it thoroughly. And then if possible, propose ways and means of. And you see, this thing is such that when you look at it critically, you could even say it's a security problem in the country at large.
Yeah.
Because look, just as you rightly stated, there is so much increase in teenage pregnancy in our society, or let me say societies, because right now it's just spreading across all over. When you go to the north, you see that when you go to the south, every part of the country, you always see or witness the increase in this teenage pregnancy. So our job this evening is to try and give causes to this teenage pregnancy. Now, personally, I believe that before we can really solve it, we have to admit that it is a problem that is really hurting the society.
Exactly.
Because this teenage pregnancy thing is really leading to so many social vices. Because sometimes these young ladies out there give birth to these kids, and because they don't have the means to take care of them, the children grow up to become something else in the society. Okay, so we first of all have to admit that it's a problem that needs to be attended to. The government has to come on board, social groups have to come on board, religious groups also need to come on board so that together we fight this issue. One of the major reasons I would assign to the increase in this teenage pregnancy thing has to do with the neglect of parenting or parents. Because look, these women or these girls, because we are talking about teenagers, these girls who end up getting pregnant come from homes. I would say that there is none of them, excuse my words, that was carved from a wood. They were given birth to by parents, by mothers.
I know, right?
Who was also impregnated or who were impregnated by fathers. So if a man impregnates a woman and it is expected that both of them do the needful, I don't think we would raise up children who would also grow up following in the steps of their parents who probably may not have had the best of upbringing or who may not have had the best of mentoring whilst they were growing up. So I think parenting is very, very key. If parents in a society or if parenting would be taken seriously, I believe it would go a long way to reduce this menace of teenage pregnancy in the society. Because look, parents play a vital role in the upbringing of children. So again, it will bring us back to one topic we discussed some time ago. If you are not ready to bear the consequences of having sex with someone, which one of them happens to be pregnancy, please don't enter into the act. Because definitely once you impregnate someone, it is expected that you owe up the responsibility and you do what you're supposed to do as a man or as a woman.
Exactly.
So if the family systems in our societies break down, then there is a likelihood that we're going to raise young ladies who will be so innocent, who will be so naive, and could easily be taken advantage of by these rascals who are running around in the society. So we have to really find a way of strengthening the family systems in our society, making sure that parents owe up to their responsibilities. They do what they're supposed to do as parenting, give the needed guidance, give the needed mentorship to their kids so that they don't expose them to human lions, for the lack of better description, of guys who are walking about in the society who are ready to pounce on innocent girls. And they normally entice them with money, they entice them with care, things that parents fail to give or provide to these young ladies. So once they don't get it from homes, they go out there, and the guy who is ready to take advantage of them provides these things for them. Definitely, they are going to be vulnerable to these girls or to these guys out there. So we need to find a way of strengthening the moral fabric of the society. We need to find a way of making sure that our family systems in the societies are working. So it's an awakening call to us. It's an awakening call to parents. It's an awakening call to the government that look, let's find a way of making sure that we strengthen the family systems. We find a way of making sure that parents own up to their responsibilities. They do what's expected of them. They give the necessary guidance to their kids and their ladies or their girls whilst growing up so that someone out there doesn't come to take advantage of them. The second reason I would assign to teenage pregnancy or the rise of it has to do with greed. Because again, you could have young girls out there who may have parents who are acting responsibly. But look, peer pressure, which would want to, or peer pressure, people, friends they get exposed to, friends they work with would want to advise them, entice them. Like I said earlier, their parents may be providing all these things for them, but they would want to get more of it. For instance, your father may buy iPhone 6 for you, and out of greed, Charlie, my friends are using iPhone 14, 15 Pro Max, 13 Pro Max. So let me also put pressure on my parents to get it for me. And if their parents are not in a position to provide for them, and someone pops up with money or with this iPhone 14, 15, whatever iPhone grade they are asking for, definitely they would also feel they would have to give something in return for this favor they have received from this person.
Not calling any of those two right, but also don't you think that those people who have and they still yearn for more and then go into those acts, theirs is a bit serious to take care of than those who do not have. Because
Exactly.
if
Yes.
you do not have, then it's because you are not
You don't
getting
have,
and you are
yes.
getting from somewhere. That's why you get attached and maybe it will end up like that. But here is the case, you have. They are providing you with all that you need. So what else?
That's where I call it greed. Because it is only greed that would want to push you to want more of something you already have. So you have to live within your means. Be grateful to God for whatever provisions your parents are able to give to you. Okay. So one way we can again, you see, it all has to do with the kind of training we give to these young girls whilst they are growing up. That is why if we break the family system in the society, we are really heading towards a ditch. Okay, because once the moral fabric of the society, which happens to be a family, is broken down, these girls, young guys, they get exposed to vampires out there. They get exposed to people who want to take advantage of their naivety. People who want to take advantage of their innocence.
And sometimes you, the young guys, you know that you now you don't have enough. If you have what you can entice the lady with, but you don't have enough. Secondly, you are not ready for the consequences, but you know that these consequences may or may not happen. Why don't you protect yourself?
Exactly.
Is it to punish the ladies?
Exactly.
Or what else?
Exactly. You see, again, of course, on this show, we would always preach against abstinence, okay? But then, if you think you can't control yourself, at least use some form of protection so that you don't end up bringing up something you are not ready to be there for all the time. So we need to really sensitize our youth. We need to really educate them. If you have parents who, of course, they may not have it all, but we're not talking about parents who have it all. At least parents who are responsible, who are able to give the necessary and the right training to their young ones, who are ready to say that, look, we may not have all the money it takes in the world, but at least we have something sensible to give you. We have guidance, we have vision, we have something that if we are able to at least deposit into you, tomorrow you would be able to build a good future for yourself. That is what we are talking about. So let us all wake up. Let us all wake up to make sure that we do the needful. We do what is expected of us as parents and as a society so that we don't expose these young girls out there to guys who are ready to pounce on them and take advantage of them. Very, very important. Very, very important.
It is really serious. These broken homes are causing a lot.
Exactly.
Because I quite remember I stayed in a house with a girl. The mom lives in the house with us, but the dad lives in a different place. This young girl will tell you that she's going to the dad's place. Meanwhile, she has the intention of going to visit a guy or something. Then she will go and come back safely. Nobody knows what happens. She will come back. She kept doing that. She leaves her dad's place. I'm coming to my mom's place, and she will not get there. And because there is no better relationship between the mom and the dad will not call to find out whether she is there or not. And she can go somewhere else. And then she kept doing that for some time. She came back once after staying for so long. And then there was this guy that fights for justice in the community. He got up and he was like, no, I'm not seeing this girl right. Let's check something. So he went out and used his pocket money to buy the pregnancy test. And he came to force the girl. The girl was proving stubborn. He will do it. He asked the girl to bring some wee so that he can use. And he tested it low and below. Now, the girl wasn't even aware.
Wow.
And she was meeting one or two people.
Wow.
But the lucky thing for her, she knew who exactly it was for. Then she had to walk to the person. Right now that I'm talking to you, she has given birth to the child that she couldn't even stay with the guy and gone to another person that is not so okay. I'm not happy about that. But sometimes broken homes can also result in that.
It's a major contributing factor to this. That is why I kept saying that if we break the moral fabric of the society, which is the family system, we are really heading towards a ditch. Because that is the basics. Okay, the family is the basic unit of the society. So if we have an increase in the rate of broken home, then it means that, just as you have rightly narrated, mother and father are not together. This girl leaves the mother's place, tells the mother, I'm going to my dad's place, probably goes to the dad's place, spends some few hours there, tell the dad that I'm going to mom's place. So mom knows that she's with dad. Dad also knows that she's with mom. She comes in between the middle. She's at free will to do whatever she wants. Why? Because there's a broken home. But you can imagine, if mom and dad are living together, what excuse are you going to give?
Even if they are not living together and there's a good bond, you cannot lie.
Exactly. Because you see, if they are together and then what excuse are you going to give? You're going to visit a friend. Of course, every responsible parent will want to find out which friend you're visiting. And then they would even want to go to the extent of finding out the kind of influence this friend is having on you. If they realize that this person is not going to be a good influence on you, they will quickly cut you off from the person. And one thing we need to understand is that when human beings are growing up, we need guidance. We have to be taught certain things. We need to be sat down and then told, look, this thing is good, this thing is, and all these are responsibilities of parents. And we'll keep stressing this. Okay, because no child grows up with ideas all over in his head. He gets these ideas from the parents, people who train him or her, people who bring him or her up. So whether this act is good or not, how will the child know this thing is good or not? Someone has to tell him or her. Someone has to educate the child that, or educate the young girl that, look, if you have sexual protected sex with a man, you're going to get pregnant. How is this child going to know this? If he or she...
Some parents will say that you've grown, you have to know things for yourself.
Again, this also goes to ask. I mean, you see, if you don't give the right kind of upbringing to your child and the right kind of education to your and what you said is so true. I know parents who push their children into these activities. Why? Because I heard of a story of a lady who told the daughter to go and look for guys who would give her money. And even if the guys are ready to sleep with her, she should let them sleep with her just so they could give her money.
Look at that.
You can imagine. Total breakdown of morality in the society. So such a parent, only God knows, and God would have to just shower so much grace on the children who would pass through the hands of this woman.
Because it will feel like a norm, and if
Yes.
you are not doing it, it means you are out of the system.
Exactly.
But sometimes too, I think too much protection also causes that. There are some children that have been protected too much that they don't have a little freedom to do
be
anything at all.
Exactly.
So once they have the chance to go out once, they want to do everything
Exactly.
at once.
Explore. Exactly. This boils down to parents, just as you have said. And I think we really need to take time and then talk about this as well. Because again, when kids are growing up, you have to know how to bring them up. Don't restrict them so much. Don't make them think that niche of habitation they are in is all there is. Be frank with them, be open with them, make time for them. Let them share their concerns with you. Let them ask you questions as a parent. Bring your children close to you because naturally children are inquisitive.
You respect them, you care for them, so that if they go and meet that outside, but here is the case, you don't show the child any respect because you feel they are children and the people are growing and you don't care. So when they go out and then they feel this person cares for me, this person respects me, this person allows me to speak for myself, they get attached and then anything for the person.
They go. And again, like you rightly said, if they don't fall into the hands of the right people, then they get taken advantage. So it is very important that we are able to strengthen the moral fabric of the society, build a strong family system, and make sure that parents rise up and become responsible towards their children. Very, very important.
It's really important. I think we have spoken a lot into this, and by now we've gotten answers to all our problems, especially to our viewers. We are going to know how to go about things like this, especially the teenage pregnancy, because it's becoming too much of a norm and it is not. So this is where we come to the end of today's episode. I would take the opportunity to extend the regards to Mrs. Ochilate myself today. Auntie, God bless you so much for releasing Daddy for us anytime we need him. And God bless you so much, Doctor, for always availing yourself to be available for the Dr. Love Show. Utmost gratitude to our good God for giving us the grace, the energy, and everything to always be here, and to Mr. Shine for always being on his toes. But we shouldn't forget our sponsors. They are number one of people that are holding us on to this day. Our Papa of the house, Apostle Felix Henry Dow of the Abundance Grace Apostolic Church, Vince Makeover, and Fred Cole Constructions Limited. My name is Na Ashoko Aji, and I was your host. This is Dr. Love Show. This is Shine TV, and I was here with Pastor Dr. Patrick Oshulati. Have a good evening.